News came out late yesterday, and I wanted to get your take on this because, of course, you are admittedly an NCAA tournament junkie. And you actually have talked about this before on our podcast about potential expansion. It was almost like you were sitting in the room while these committee meetings were going on. But tell us your thoughts now that this apparently seems to be moving in the direction in which you were kind of advocating for a few months ago.
Yeah. And I need to do a little more digging into it. But from what I can tell, it sounds like every 16 seed is now going to be a play-in game type, like it's going to be, and half the 15 seeds. So, we're right back where we were, that the NCAA they just got it wrong again. It's what they do. They're really good at getting it wrong. We all know how this story is going to go. They're going to reward the teams that you're going to have more middling SEC and Big Ten teams that are going to get in. You might get one more, I'm trying to think of some teams that, like a Belmont. You might get one more team like that or something. But you've just ruined the experience for every 16 seed now, because now you've got to win a game to feel like you're actually playing. I mean, you don't think Siena had a blast playing Duke last year? I mean, that, and even if you got blown out, you still, it feels like the tournament. So I think one of the basketball junkies that I follow on X, I think I said, I was in favor of expansion, provided they did it in a way that actually rewarded some of these small schools for their great regular season. So I guess that means I was against expansion, because it just seems like they're going to screw it up. And it's going to be, there was big debate this year over Auburn, right? Who was 17-16. And, but they played that tough schedule. And yeah, I know, but you lost 75% of your games against that tough schedule. And so and you're going to see more of those teams getting in now. And I don't know that that's the recipe I was hoping for with expansion.
Yeah, that kind of hits where I fall in on it. And look, when I think of expansion, I'm thinking the traditional 64 team bracket is going to expand. And no matter how what you call it or whatever, this is almost like we're trying to even cull more teams out before we get to the 64. It's the conference tournaments again are not enough to be considered play-ins. I think if you perform well in your conference tournament and earn your bid through that, I was never really a big fan of the first four. Expanding 68, what they call, but to me that's not an expansion. It's I don't know, the NCAA tournament to me, and again I'm old school historically. The NCAA tournament to me does not begin until Thursday of that week.
Yep. Yeah.
You can't explain to me and try to convince me that, they actually make the tournament as part of a 68 or a 76 team field. And they're having to play on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It isn't. And I think you kind of ruin it for the 16 seeds, because you're really not a 16 seed. You're having to play to become a 16 seed. I don't know. It's all about money. Everything is nowadays, and it's all about really getting those Power Four conferences more bids. I mean, that's really what this is all about. And I don't agree with expanding in that environment. I really don't.
And here's where what a lot of people don't realize, 76 teams, there's 4 regions. So in effect, you've got 19 teams per region. So when 2 16 seeds are playing each other in a first round game, that's actually 2 19 seeds probably. And so if they did just, have you noticed, not to launch us into a podcast for another time, but people that have said, why are you trying to change math? The math doesn't change. The math we learned is that we make math more complicated than it needs to be sometimes. There's 76 teams. 76 divided by 4 is 19. We have 4 regions of 19. So if you want to do that, 14 plays 19, 15 plays 18, 16 plays 17, and then each region gets down to it. At that point, if you did it that way, your 16 and 17 game is actually more like a couple 14 seeds duking it out, which we saw some 14 seeds who were competitive. Your 19 seed is opening with a team that they could actually beat maybe, but would feel more like a tournament win because they're not playing another 19 seed that they're duking it out with. And so if they were to do it like that, I could maybe get on board with it a little bit more. And I mean, but God forbid we do simple math. We got to have 4 matchups of all 16 seeds. And I don't know that I've never been a fan of the NCAA and the way they do things. It just seems willy-nilly and they don't seem to make a lot of sense. And so they're reinforcing all those stereotypes right now with this, I think.
Well, I'll just put this on record and say that I, in general, am against expansion of playoffs in any sport. And the reason I say that is because once you start doing that, you're always gonna your gut reaction next time is always going to be to expand more. And look where the NFL's at, because I believe the NFL. I heard this on a show yesterday, and I really hadn't thought about the numbers before, but I think the NFL has 32 teams.
Yes.
And 14 of them make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So, you've got, it's 18 that don't and 14 that make it. And to me, once you start getting close to half your league, like the NBA gets in the postseason, I think you've got a playoff problem. Why would you play a regular season as long as you do, and have that many of your teams make the postseason? The postseason should be a reward for excellence, not watered down because we want to see more teams playing in it. And this is kind of where the NCAA is heading here. And the more I read about this, the more I'm actually starting to be on the side of on the CFP side that we need to just leave it where it's at, because once you open the expansion door of the playoffs, it's really hard to shut that door. I think
No
that's
doubt.
been proven in every sport, because what's going to drive it? Folks are going to see it's going to make more money if we add just a
Always.
few more teams and a couple more games. It's going to make more money, and then that waters down your product. I've never have been in really favor of it. I hate what they've done to baseball, but it's not as bad as some of the other sports. But yeah, I'm not in agreement with this. The way it's currently set up, I think it invites more mediocrity, and it just kind of takes away from something that really wasn't broken. We talked about it, the magic of the NCAA tournament. Why would you start to tinker with that and potentially take away from that? I don't see any need for it personally.
Yeah, and I mean, look, the math is what it is. I think. I mean, we talked about this, I think, during the tournament. There's 365 Division I college basketball teams. That the number of Division I college basketball teams is growing exponentially. Like, you just look a decade ago and we were barely at 300, I think. So, I mean, you still barely have 20% of the teams making it. It's still way less than what you see in the NFL and NBA and all the rest. So I think it becomes a better product when a team that went 29-5 in the regular season gets in, as opposed to, like we said, 17-16 Auburn. But that's not how it's going to work, and it probably never will be.